Good evening, Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League fans, and welcome in to a Friday night edition of Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator for this, Glenn Graham, the G Show Forsyth. Happy to have you here all with us. We're brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance, Elite Prospects, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Goaltenders, and Terrico for this one here tonight. It's a finals rematch right off the bat for both of these teams as the St. Boniface Riels, defending champions, taking on last year's finalists, the team they met in the finals to capture their first title since 2014-15 in the Transcona Railer Express. Both teams come in with, in my opinion, on paper, the best teams in the mmjhl heading into this season. Could this very well be, out of the 5 matchups, one of the many previews we could potentially be seeing of a finals preview? For both of these teams, they come in with experience, they come in with some new blood as well, adding some rookies into the lineup. For this Riels squad, they bring back goaltending duo in Owen Larocque and Alex Dominico. Of course, Larocque winning playoff MVP in St. Boniface's championship run last season. And as for the Railer Express, Logan Maroney doesn't return, but Sage Delarone does, who it ended up becoming his crease. His net to lose in the playoffs, and he never looked back. What I'm looking for tonight and expecting to see from both of these teams is a lot of speed, quickness from both of them, 2 well-coached teams, and I think we're going to get some great goaltending in this matchup also tonight. I believe that once the Railers come out, St. Boniface is going to follow suit, and we're going to get some championship presentation here as I'm not sure if we're going to be raising the banner. I believe they actually did put the new one up, which is pretty darn cool. We'll try to zoom into it, but introductions for this year's St. Boniface Riels team coming up next on mmjhl Game Day. And apologies, by the way, mmjhl fans. The hockey gods, not a fan of us. My cord ended up severing my charging cord from my computer, so I had to run home, and that's why you didn't get as lengthy of a pregame show and why we don't have any graphics in tonight. But I will tell you one thing. We will be treating you to what should be a fantastic matchup tonight. Start off these 2 quality teams, mmjhl season. Apologies for being a bit out of focus there, mmjhl fans, as these two teams look to focus up right away as we look to get the puck dropped. On this 2025-2026 season, for last year's two teams that met up in the finals, the home side and the St. Boniface Riels, looking to start off their title defense right. They'll be in their gold-like jerseys. And as for the Railer Express, some new threads heading into 2025-2026, hoping that maybe, just maybe, this season comes with a championship at the end of it, instead of going out in the finals in 5 games like they did last season. As both teams are set, we're ready to get things underway here at good old Southdale Community Center. The starting goaltenders tonight, Owen Larocque for the St. Boniface Riels. It's Sage Delarone in net for the Transcona Railer Express. And with the drop of the puck, we are officially off here between the Riels and the Railer Express. Berchanski, first one to catch up to it, but the Riels on the forecheck quickly, trying to hem in this Railers team right off the bat. Vandenbush flips it out into center with the backhand. It'll be turned over right away into the possession of Ruzinski, who's hounded on the puck. Good forecheck by this Railer Express side. That pass over. Whiteman tried to fire it to number 18 in Cameron Sylvester. Rookie is Berchanski. Jace Larkins couldn't quite hold the line. Just decides to send this off the boards and get it out up to number 22 in Nolan Vandenbush. Sylvester just decides to send this in, so it allows for the Railers to get some fresh legs out, and the Riels, to try to get something going. But an icing ensues for the defending champions. With that, we'll get a face-off right away inside the Riels end. Good pressure from both teams to start things off. It'll be Nathan Turner, back from a lengthy injury last playoffs, able to win this draw, but St. Boniface gets to it first. It's Van Dynes tracking his man down, forces him to pass this quickly. Saw off the stick of Turner and down low. For 27, Ryder McClure out there. Same with Selin, who lets this rip, but getting in the way, number 15, and Zachary Dominico got a stick on to block it. Nice stick. A defenseman for this Railer Express side, and Ronco disrupted a pass from entering into the Railer zone moments ago. Reeve Sukit down low, tries to work this free. I believe Van Dynes drops it back for Sukit. Sukit locates Reyes up at the point. His shot low, but turned aside by Delarone. Just got a piece of it. It was number 29. The Riels hacking away at it. Code doesn't like that, so I'll give him a few whacks behind the net. Face-off draw just to the blocker hand side, or the glove hand, blocker hand side of Delarone, since he is a southpaw. Catches with his right hand. His blocker hand on his left. You don't see much of that in the mmjhl, but we do see it here tonight, and we will be all season long with Sage Delarone. Is McClure on the forecheck, hard on Reyes. Is McClure able to force a turnover, but unable to keep possession of it. Howell trying to set it in deep, unable to. The Riels trying to break through, and that's Dubois. Pushes it up. Dubois has a man heading to the net, tries getting it there, draws a penalty instead in the corner. As Jacob Howell, I believe he's going to be the one going to the box. Sends this Riels side onto the power play for the first time this evening, for the first time this season. Brought to you by Kansas Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Different rigs, different lighting, have to change the color of the text. It'll be 2 minutes. This coming up to number 2, it says in McCorrister, but I'm pretty sure, it is McCorrister going to the box. Interesting. Did not think it was him in the box, but regardless, the Railers have a penalty to kill. High stick waved off right away since the Railers touch it up right away, but unable to get it out of Sukit. Walks down the right side, drops it back. That shot through traffic, but glove down by Delarone. Great reaction from number 29. Robin Sachin, number 16, Matthew Sachin, for the Riels as they got some fresh legs out. Brzezinski to take the draw, wins this back to Reyes, has a bit of trouble with it, bobbled it a bit, sends it off the boards. This turned over, the Railer Express able to send it all the way out. So sent down by Nathan Turner. Also with him out there is Keaton Johnson. As for the Riels, looking to get a breakout going. Reyes puts this to Dubois. Dubois dishes it out to Davis. Rims this around number 21. And Satars is taken away by the Railer Express. Johnson trying to get it past Reyes. Hacked him on the stick a bit. No call from the referee. It's this all the way down for the Riels, trying to get after it on the forecheck. Howell pinned up along the boards. Lost control of his stick. Allows for Brzezinski to get possession of it. Brzezinski walks up top. Dishes this to Davis. Up top to Reyes. That shot blocked. Brzezinski trying to whack away at that rebound that was airborne. But no dice. The Railers able to send this all the way out. Solid kill for, well, a top 2 penalty kill unit in the league last season. Both of these teams were among the best in the PK department. As for the Riels, maybe one last opportunity here with 12 seconds left. Number 12 with it on his stick, Sukit. Sends it to a teammate. Now that gets to the slot, but past the stick of number 22 and Shade Chornley. Back to even strength as man sent. The Railers trying to dipsy doodle past Sukit was number 11 Johannesson. He was unable to. Vandenbush up top to the point to Bruchansky, tipped on net, scores! Or it might have just been Bruchansky who scored the goal himself. And brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. It's the Railers on a night where they may be looking for some revenge from last year's 5-game loss in the finals against St. Boniface. They had a great kill, get into transition right away, and on that goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, they work it to the point, keep it simple, get a shot on net that is tough for Larocque to handle, and with that, it's the Railer Express who grabbed the first lead of their season. The first time the Riels trail. Trouble at the line, forces a turnover. The Railers trying to attack, trying to get it towards the net to Jace Larkins. It's number 17 and Tyson Pruden, but 17 can thread it through. Here come the Riels the other way. That save made by Delarone. It's nice control there from number 29 on the kick save. Sent down low by the Riels. It's trouble at the line. Pruden able to win that battle and get it out. It's Ewan Reyes now. He turns this over just outside the blue line, sent back in to the Riels, and as Larocque left this for a D-man, who sends that up ice off the stick. Number 14 and Cashton Long, of course, called up a few times last season for this Riels team. Getting full action this season. It's one of their few rookies joining the lineup. Number 18 and Caden Gordon couldn't send that towards the slot. Ends up in the corner instead in the Railers' end. As Cameron Sylvester controls this by just going off the backboards. D to Coe. Coe gets it over to Kyle Todorick. Todorick sauces this up to Whiteman. Nice feed. Now turned over at the line. Vandenbush tries feeding it back to Whiteman, but unable to get it to him as Vandenbush lost that down low. It's to Whiteman. Whiteman sauces it across to Coe. Coe, his shot tipped wide of the net there from number 18 and Sylvester. Net deemed off by the referees. And even though they only have one shot, it was good enough to be the only shot that's had to beat Larocque so far to give this Railer side the one goal advantage. So they're looking to spoil the party here tonight in St. Boniface. So they look to raise their new banner, which I believe they did, although a bit smaller than the other two. unless that's not actually the banner in front of the net, or rather the side of it. The Railers trying to be dangerous. Hayden Cochin down low, going to work. Tries to send it up to Howell, but instead cut off by number 121 in Sittards. Gets it over to Cole Davis as Davis' shot deflected out of play off the stick of a Railer Express player. But on a busy opening weekend for us, we're going to be back here in Southdale Community Center for Riels and Canucks on Sunday afternoon. As it's kind of crazy, both franchises playing in that game are the last four mmjhl champions. So of course the Canucks had gone on a three-peat prior to last season. And of course last season St. Boniface going 12-1 in the postseason for claiming their first championship since 2014-2015. Of course, winning it last year in 2024-2025 as Van Dynes. He was a huge part of their championship success last season, turning that pass over in the slot as it got to Sullen. Sullen chips it down low and chases after this successfully. Gets possession of it, now tight turn, feeds Turner in the low slot. Had a bit of trouble with it, settles it down, gets it to the point to Larkins. That shot through, active in front, but Sullen unable to whack it home. This loose puck was sitting right there in front of the net. Now to Bruchansky, tipped in front of the net by Turner, but nice save made by Larocque. Turn it aside. Now possession for the Riels, looking to attack quickly. It's Reyes down low. He goes to battle with Cochin. Reyes tried feeding that in the slot, but intercepted into the skates of Railer Express as it allows for Ryder McClure to skate it out and send it in deep cross ice. Hayden Cochin goes after it. McClure goes off for a change. It's the Railers looking to keep fresh legs out as Ewan Reyes, I believe somehow related to Kalen, out there right now. Opposite point as his D partner sends this in deep. Johannesson, he'll just flip this out as it hops over the stick of Ewan Reyes and all the way back down into the Railers end, or into the Riels end, as the Railers trying to get the forecheck going. This will be played off the boards by Sittards, good enough to get out. Davis tries to chip it past Todoruk, but nice defensive stick from number 6 to whack that away right away to eliminate any chance of that getting past him. He has it back on his stick. Cross ice feed up into the neutral zone, tipped in to the Riels end, so no ice in. Larocque out of his own net to play this, and gets it successfully up to Sittards. He tries to poke this out. Unsuccessful though, as the Railers, they're somehow able to hold the line. As that pass, trying to feed it across, unable to, was number 14 in Caden Seawalk. Here go the Riels now off to the races, near side boards, putting on the brakes. The Riels, that shot high of the net, Long trying to whack it in. Instead goes on top of the net, I believe, as Long was in front, trying to whack at that successfully, but ends up not being the case. We get another face-off inside the Railer Express end, 4-3 in favor of the shots for Transcona on the scoreboard now, as that shot just over Delarone's blocker hand side. So that shot arose there from Zachary Dominico. Of course, his brother. So does the backup goalie tonight for this Riel side as he's back for another season. Dominico has to play this quickly across, and he does just that. Up to number 16 in Sachin as this ends up out of play. So ended up into the Railer Express bench. With 10:27 remaining, Vandenbush wins this draw against Dubois. So now it gets played D to D to Bruchansky, but delayed offside as his teammates a bit too antsy trying to hold the line. As Whiteman played it up to Vandenbush, but a step over, puck wasn't there yet. She was over the line, that is, and we get an offside call on the play. Face off just outside the Riels end and won by the defending champs as number 16 and Sachin just sends this in deep. Delaron was out of his own net to play that. Sachin at the point. His shot deflected on. Getting a piece of it was Delaron just to make the stop. Sachin stops this with a skate before kicking it up to his forehand and sending it in back deep. It'll be Bruchansky. Tries to go D to D with his teammate. Instead, it gets to Cam Sylvester. Sylvester sends it right back to Bruchansky. Bruchansky sends it cross ice in. It's off for a change as the Railers try to get a forecheck going. Nice job by Whiteman on the forecheck to strip a Riel of that puck. Be held in now at the line by Larkins. Off the boards. That goes to Sylvester. Somehow gets it through to Vandenbush, but he can't unload that. Reyes. Kalen, that is, closed on him right away. This all the way back down into the Railers' end, behind his own net, and now skating up before passing it is McCorster. Finds Vandenbush, the captain, trying to slide his way through, draws a penalty. Believe an interference coming up here to Grayson Matthews. As Kalen Reyes, I believe it actually is Kalen Reyes going to the box. He's pleading his case with the referee right now, the linesman, that he was fair game. Vandenbush makes a dangle on him, a move on him. But Reyes stick up a bit, knock Vandenbush down. We'll get the official call in just a moment here. With that, Reyes goes to the box, and for the first time tonight, first time this season, it's the Railers on the power play. Apparently it's a 2-minute minor for tripping to Reyes. Interesting. As down low, 3 Railer Express trying to get this puck, but it'll be 3 Riels in that area as well, and Davis gets to it first, able to send it all the way down. C goes off for a change quickly, along with number 96 and Lucas Major. As the open space in the neutral ice allows for the Railer Express to skate their way in. Whiteman takes down Dominico. Penalty drawn there by number 15. As Whiteman got his hands wrapped around his neck, took him down, and don't think he can quite do that. He's going to be called for a holding. And with that, we're going to go to even strength, the 4-on-4. Transcona's power play ends about 49 seconds in, around that marker. Be 4-on-4 for over a minute here as Larkins tries to cut past a Riel, but instead gets shut down. He's tried to protect it on the outside with a little toe drag move. Larkins back on it again. So he'll drop this to a near man in Sullins. Sullins circles back, gets knocked down along the boards. Loose puck out to Larkins, has Turner with him, tries feeding it to Turner, but ends up finding the skate of number 9 and Matthews instead, as Matthews, the presence there, and made Larkins nervous. It looked like he was just forced to regroup. The Riels now forcing a turnover. Sukit, he ends up drawing a penalty, and it'll be the Riels. We'll be going on to a 5-on-3 here soon in about 24 seconds. It's going to be a 4-on-3 coming up. So we got our power play graphic up. The discipline factor, not ideal currently for this Railer Express side. I believe Derek Gagnon is going to be calling a timeout. It might have been Castus, but either way, kind of unusual to see this just over halfway into this first period. We got 2 more periods left, and one of these squads using their timeout early here, but Yeah, for the Railer Express, kind of shooting themselves in the foot. They had a man advantage. You know, the Whiteman penalty, sure. But then the penalty to number 5 in Larkins is just something that, you know, can't really happen if you're the Railer Express and you want to give yourself as much advantage as possible against a Riels team who, you know, they're hungry to get back in this one, to get back even within the scoreboard. But it'll be a 4-on-3 for the time being for the Riels as this team can zip it around on the man advantage. As Suka connects with Davis. That shot turned aside by Delarone. Almost got past him, but just able to squeeze it in the end to keep it out. So he reached back. Dangerous for number 29. As for the Railers this time around, they win the draw, but unable to get it out off the board, so it was clogged up by the Riels. As this will get to Sachin. Sachin unloads a shot, turned aside by Delarone. We're on to a 5-on-3 right now for 43 seconds. As Sachin cuts this off, circles back into his own end, finds a wide open man in number 88, Davis, who kind of bobbled the puck for a moment, but maintains possession of it. Now walks into the Railers' end. He'll delay, saucers this over. And number 22 in Shea Chorley, who tried to send that through, but blocked up by the Railers. Sent all the way down to So Far So Good on this penalty kill here tonight. Stretched up quickly by the Riels, but unable to get it across quick like they wanted to. They'll have another chance now to work in the offensive zone as Suka cross-ice feed to a teammate at the left face-off circle. This gets up to Sachin at the point as we're now on to a 5-on-4. As that blocked up big time by the Railer Express. As Chorley, first one back to get it, feeds it across quickly to Sachin. Sachin, cross-ice feed near boards to Davis. Davis, quick pass up to Van Dynes. Can cradle it though. Allows for the Railers to get it right back. Turner. It's met by an even better effort by Sachin at the line to hold this in. That time a good enough bounce for the Railers. So it ends up all the way out back down into the Riels end. As this off the boards, this time down for an icing. 10 seconds remaining on the Riels man advantage. But a nice job by the Railer Express so far on the penalty kill. Doing a good job of taking away the Riels' time and space. You know, even though passes are getting through, they're ready to block shots, and Delarone there to make some key saves too. Overall, just really well structured so far from this team in their own end. As the Riels drop this back to safety behind their own net. So look to turn it up ice now, back to even strength. Nothing doing there for the Riels. They had some offensive zone time. Overall, the Railers minimizing their high danger scoring chances. As Johnson trying to get back on side. Pruden falls offside touching that puck. Refs end up calling it. With 5:09 remaining in this first period of action, you're watching G-Show Game Day, mmjhl Game Day on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Well, it's been an entertaining one so far, even though it's just 1-0. It's in favor of the visitors in the Railer Express. Which, fun fact so far, out of the broadcast that we've done, which I guess is 3 out of the 5 games that have been played so far here through the first 2 days, there's a penalty coming up. That'll be to the St. Boniface Riels, 2 minutes for boarding. It's going to be Nathan Brzezinski who goes off. So that'll send us back to a Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia power play. But yeah, what I was trying to say is the games that our team, G-Show Productions, has broadcasted so far. Both road teams starting off with the lead. The Twins last night against the Vics, they ended up winning 2-1 in that one. Or we headed for a similar score here. As the Railers looking to boost their lead on the scoreboard. Up one already in the last 5 minutes here of this period as that shot was blocked. Railers couldn't get it through. Sullen circles up, gets to the high slot. That shot deflected wide. So it just caught a piece of Turner. Now up to Bruchansky, who has the only goal for the Railers in this game. Takes a quick tic-tac-toe pass, but ends up sending that into Larocque's padding. So Larocque makes the save, gives a whack afterwards. It's worked around to Jace Larkins now as Larkins up top to the point to Bruchansky. Bruchansky across to Vandenbush. The captain fires into the chest of Larocque. He makes the save as it's turned back into the Railers' end as Delarone out of his own crease leaves that for Bruchansky. He surveys his options and likes nothing up ice, so just decides to drop it back for Larkins as Larkins just before the blue line sends that in deep. The Riels get possession of it, but give it right back as that cleared off the boards, held in by Bruchansky. He got that to Vandenbush as Vandenbush go on to this himself. Goes for a bit of a skate pass, cross ice, can't get through. So it's held in back at the point now by Bruchansky. A shot from the point, rebound there, Stellan! Unable to get it on net as Kalen Reyes in there to play goaltender. Diving to block that as Larocque was out of position. If it wasn't for that effort from Kalen, could have very well been 2-0 in favor for the Railers here in the late moments of this first period. Goes to Hayden Koch, and he gets spun down by Kalen Reyes. No call on the play, though, as we're back to even strength. Some good looks for the Railer Express, but overall, win goes to the Riels on that penalty kill sequence. Really good job of just clearing pucks out. And of course protecting their house too. As McClure got a step on a Riel defenseman but ended up losing an edge. Played it down low to Sylvester. Sylvester tried to play it off of the pad of Larocque and into the back of the net, but the angle bit off there for number 18 to do so. This ends up right back down to the Railer Express zone and along the boards where our camera angle isn't the greatest, but that ends up getting opposite point to a Riel who sent it on net. Rebound covered up by Delarone. So we get a stoppage with 1:55 remaining. Shots 10-9 in favor of the Railers. It's as even as you can get so far. Both teams have been trading chances. Had some nice stops in their own end defensively. Is here maybe a chance for the Riels to work something, but the Railers shut that down. It's that pass right off the mark for St. Boniface. This heavy hit along the boards in the Transcona end. A Seawalk off the boards. Plays this up ice into the skates. Riels defenseman. This now picked up by the Railers. The Riels get it right back. It's Sachin who will send this in off the boards. It will be Todoruk who plays this into direction. Far side boards to Seawalk. Rim back down low again as the Riels maintain possession of it. Van Dyne steps onto the ice. The Riels got some fresh legs out. Is this all the way down for the Railer Express? Near our broadcast angle, all the way down for an icing with 1:04 remaining in this first period of action. Face-off draw, won by the Riels. That shot from the point, tipped, rebound still there, but nice job to protect by the Railer Express. Closing in right away, take that rebound away. It's held in at the point near the point by the Riels. It's down low. Brzezinski goes to battle. Took a few bumps. Turnover ended up happening as number 17, Imprudence, sends us all the way down deep. As Reyes, nice little shimmy shake behind his own net before skating this up a bit and passing it in the neutral zone. Cole Davis can't get this on net where he intended it to be, so instead it just got down low. Turnover forced at the Railers line. Keaton Johnson hounded on there by Brzezinski as he stuck with him all the way. Riels get possession of it back with 14 seconds. That stretch pass up cross ice. Unable to connect with Brzezinski as the Railer Express. A misplay on this pass. No, it's not. Icing beat out by Keaton Johnson. Allows for the buzzer to sound for the clock to hit zeros and for us to go to our first intermission. With the score 1-0 in favor of the Railer Express. We'll be back for the second period action coming up right away here on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. First intermission analysis, first period analysis, as well as the second period of play coming up next as the Railer Express up 1, looking to spoil the St. Boniface party tonight.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And welcome back into Southdale Community Center, where after the first 20 minutes of play in this one, it's the Railer Express up by a score of 1-0. Shots are even at 10 apiece for both teams. They both had a few opportunities to get things going on the power play. As for the goal scorer, though, for this Railer Express side, it was number 7 in Caden Bruchansky, where I was on home with some traffic in front. About 4:20 into that first period, Nolan Vandenbush, the captain for this year's Railer Express team for yet another year, as he was their captain last season, gets the primary assist, and Carter Johannesson, the secondary assist. Penalties, 3 taken from the Railer Express in that period, 2 from the St. Boniface Riels. Both teams showcased how they can hurt you with their speed, showcase that they're going to be on you like rabid dogs, whoever it may be, these forecheckers out here. Is these two teams, you could argue, they got among the best forechecks out of any team in the mmjhl, and a big reason for both of their success last season had to do with how things looked on the power play and on the forecheck, and just two complete teams. Going at it here tonight to start things off in this 2025-2026 mmjhl season for themselves. As we take a look at the keys to the game, crash in the net, that's something that has created some good opportunities for the Railer Express so far. I'd say, though, don't sit back. Continue to try to build on this one-goal lead that you have. Don't look to just dump pucks down and ice pucks as this game goes along. And look to spoil the party here tonight against the St. Boniface Riels team that, of course, is opening up their title defense. Speed kills for the Riels. They know that better than anybody. It's about resilience for this team, and I think protecting their house, too. And if they're able to do those things, use their speed more and more as this matchup goes along, maybe they can start to break through. This Railer Express team start to force some more turnovers and maybe open up ice a bit more for themselves. But so we're off here in the second period of action, which will be brought to you by Movement, Fitness, and Performance and Elite Prospects. It's the Railer Express who worked this out of their own end, flipped cross ice into the Riels end for an icing. So we will have a face-off draw to the glove-hand side of Delarone, the close near side to our broadcast angle, as this chipped out of play and past the netting. We'll get a face-off to our near side once again, just outside the Railer Express zone, as Caution takes the draw. And it's number 96, and Lucas Major won that, but the Riels still have to find control in their own end as Kalen Reyes will reverse this behind his back. As this now played up to Major. Cross ice feed, but a bit behind Suket. Somehow the Riels stay onside. It's Van Dynes along with Major out there for this Riels side. It's down low. Kalen Reyes in his own end battling. Major in there to help. Johannesson atop for support for this Railer Express side. The Riels trying to chip and go, and they do get past. They manage to do that. Major can't manage to find that puck after trying to dangle past Todoruk, as Todoruk shut him down well. Allows for Delaron to cover things up here. By the way, number 5 for the Riels is Christian Hansen. He's an AP player in the lineup as, this Riels team not totally at full strength. Of course, most notable player I think missing the lineup tonight for them would be a player in Dylan Bachnacht on the back end, set to return on their decor this year. Is this turned aside? Number 33 in Larocque. Larocque's blocker hand side, won by Vandenbush just. Sylvester trying to unload that, but fanned on it. Couldn't settle that puck down. Off the face-off draw win. So it'll be sent in by Caden Gordon for the Riels as the Railers break it out quickly, but turned it over. Neutral ice. The Riels sent it right back in. Hit late on there by Hansen on Vandenbush. It leads to 2 minutes for interference. As down low, right behind the Railer Express net, a few Railers around Dubois. Dubois trying to get in, added on a Railer Express. But with that, we're going to be going to a Railer Express power play, which will be brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance. Going 5 years strong as a local Winnipeg independently owned gym. Be sure to check them out today at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue, building number 3. So the Riels bench one of this face-off draw outside. Their wish ends up being denied. This is another offensive zone draw for the Railers. One up to Bruchansky. He fires. That shot off of the backboards. Rebound was there, but the Railers unable to jump on it. Stellarone now in the Railer Express end. Left it for Bruchansky. Bruchansky had a man all over him, and Major dropped it back to Vandenbush. Now to Larkins as Larkins sends that on net. Rebound left there. Taken by Reyes, but can't get this out off of the glass. He was trying to go there, side of the net. Now Sullen spins and fires, but wide of the net, his shot goes. As for the Railers, they still control here. Vandenbush fights through some stick checking, gets this free up to Bruchansky. Bruchansky over to a wide open Larkins, right back to Bruchansky. That shot blocked up there by Major. It allows for the Riels to send this all the way down deep. So it's cleared out by Cole Davis as him and Major both go off for a change. And by the way, if you notice, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, but Major's wearing the C tonight. Not sure if that's the case. I believe that that's just Connor Davis's jersey from last year. Is scrum ensues in front of the Riels net. So now Sullen has his helmet off. I believe a Riel ends up ripping it off his head. Sullen still can't get his helmet back as he drops it. And I believe the Railer Express will be penalized for this, as the door remains open. Derek Gagnon has some words for the ref, trying to figure out why exactly it looks like we're going to be going to a 4-on-4. Of course, we'll be with Trace Selling going to the box. The ref's not appreciating his extra activity after the whistle. Sun continues to have some words for the head referee, so I'm sure he's voicing his displeasure. It's going to be 4-on-4 for the next 40 seconds here, and then we'll get a Riels power play on the board as they'll look to go to work on a man advantage. It will be their 4th man advantage of the game, but for now, it's going to be 4-on-4 for the next 40 seconds as Hansen, off the boards behind the back, turn that over to Todoruk. Todoruk sends it cross ice as look out. Into the Railers bench that puck goes. Luckily, no harm done. Face-off draw will end up just outside of the Railers' end here, closest to their bench, as it's won by the Railer Express, controlled by Todoruk in his own end. He'll just look to take this for a skate, and he does just that. Breaks in to the Riels end, dishes this off to Johannesson. Johannesson stops up, protects this along the boards as 2 Riels meet him. Trying to take it away is Dominico, along with Chornley. Chornley flips this out, and Sukit trying to get to it first. Past Coe, he does. What speed from Sukit to beat Coe to that puck. So he got it up to the point. We're on to a Victoria, or a Riels power play now, as that's denied by Delarone. As the net goes off. And we will have a power play for the next minute and 14 seconds here still for the St. Boniface Riels. Brought to you by Elite Prospects, your most informative hockey player database. Online today. Be sure to check them out at eliteprospects.com, where you can find pretty much all the info you can ask for here from past seasons from the mmjhl and information on players and stuff. So thank you to them for supporting us and our coverage of mmjhl hockey and everything else that we do here on the network. As the Riels with some patience in their own end on this power play as they look to get this breakout going. As Reyes, his pass off the mark, as the Riels look a bit out of sync here in this portion of their power play. Which, of course, the start of it. As they look to transition this up. Near side, and now cut into the middle as Dubois slides it under Riels player's stick and Turner, but he shut him down and turns this all the way back down to the Riels end. Larocque left this for not too sure who it is. I believe it's Reyes. Dishes it out to Brzezinski, was going to get cut off right away, so just sends it in deep. Turned over down low by the Railer Express. Now Brzezinski from the point, that tipped off the post by Dubois. Off of 19 stick. Gets right back from the shooter in Brzezinski. Down low this goes, and Brzezinski gets it right back. Brzezinski right back to number 21 in Sitar. Sitar's down low, that goes into the slot to Brzezinski, but that pass gets intercepted by the Railers, and what a pass from Bruchansky up to Sullen, but number 4 can cradle that, and now a bit of a snow shower. Don't think the forecast was calling for snow, but Sullen, the bearer of bad news for Larocque, has sprayed him pretty good there. So, of course, we are back to even strength. Or so we think. No, Sullen's going right back to the box for that. I mean, yes, snow shower, a sign of disrespect a bit to the goaltender you're facing off against, but I mean, maybe it was a bit of an egregious stop from Sun that causes the snow to fly up like that, but still, not sure exactly, in my opinion, if that warrants another penalty, but that's exactly what the refs determine, and that's exactly what we got here, as the Riels remain on the power play for the next 2 minutes after their most recent one. It just expired as Van Dynes, deep down the near side board, sends this to Chornley, who gets it up to Sachin. Across to Sukit, that shot low, turned aside by Delarone. His team helps him out too, clears away the rebound. Now Vandenbush forces the turnover. He almost gets a step on a Riel, but the Riels good enough to shut him down, getting back hard on the back check. As Farif Sukit now delays, surveys his options, works this to the top of the point, drops it back for Sachin as his shot unable to get through. So it's a nice block by number 10, Inko. That into the feet of Sukit now. Vandenbush almost forcing this the other way, but unable to cradle that puck at the very last moment. Sachin shut him down at neutral ice. Now Van Dynes dangles past Vandenbush. Now past Johansson. Tries to get past Coe, but unable to. As Coe shut him down, but unable to chip it off the boards. As finally it is sent out all the way down. Cross ice by Vandenbush. And hold the phone. Another penalty coming up here. And this time to the St. Boniface Riels. So this will put us back to even strength for the next 39 seconds. It's a penalty to Lucas Major. And when 36 seconds is up, we'll continue to see power play time, but this time for the Railer Express, as they have an offensive zone draw right now. Hayden Cochin up against Brzezinski. Brzezinski wins this with ease against Cochin as it's rimmed around and now picked up by Reyes as he won the race to the puck in his own end. Now down low, Reyes trying to fend off a few checkers from the Railers. Couldn't, as the Railers get it back, as Sylvester can't cradle in that pass. Sprachanski tried to spring him. As what a move. Confidence there from Brzezinski displayed as he sends us up ice near side to Cole Davis. Davis walks in, turned aside by Delarone. Reyes can't whack away at that as it hops over his stick. As with 3 seconds remaining in even strength on this 4-on-4, we're now on to a 5-on-4 as the Railer Express looking to catch the Riels locking here in the neutral zone as they get back into the offensive zone. Selling his shot turned aside by Larocque as number 4, fresh out of the box, will be stifled there. It's for Vandenbush. He'll be the man to take the draw here with 1:08 of power play time remaining for the Railer Express, who still lead this one by a score of 1-0. Larkins receives a pass from Bruchansky, right back up to number 7. Now to 22 and the captain, Vandenbush. Cross ice feed to Larkins. Larkins unloads that shot, turned aside by Larocque. A rebound scooped up by Turner down low. His pass a bit off the mark. Vandenbush got back to it anyways. Couldn't hold it in the zone though as the Riels forced a turnover out. Larkins sends this cross ice to open ice where Bruchansky picks up along the boards. Given pressure was Gordon, but the Railers still able to get in. They send this down low. Dominico first one on it, cut off right away by Turner. Turner pokes this to Vandenbush, shields this on the back end, fires it up top to Bruchansky. Bruchansky back to Vandenbush. What a toe drag at release wide of the net. High of it as it rose for number 22. But what elusiveness there to create that shot. In the end, all for naught, as that bad turnover just past the blue line for the Railers. We're back to even strength. As those power plays were brought to you by Elite Prospects. As Vandenbush turns this over near the Riels blue line. As look out, almost a suicide pass there. But instead, the Riels make it out okay. It's number 39 in Jagabilus. Almost ended badly for him there. Belus will pick it up, gets it into the middle for Dubois. Shields this and gets it back to Belus, who sends it in deep. As Coe reverses this to a D-man down low and gets it right back from him. And Todoruk, near side, trying to feed this up that wall, as the Railers do successfully as they get out of their own end. The Riels are the ones back on it. It's chipped in off the boards. Getting back, Michael Todoruk puts the moves on Belus before sending this off the glass, trying to send Seawalk. This will be cut off by Hansen. Hansen up the wall, far side to Long. Long gets this to Dubois. Dubois, shot turned aside by Delaron. Rebound cleared away by the Railer Express. Another chance, that time by Ewan Reyes. Or Ewer Reyes. But he couldn't get it on net. Just for the Railer Express. Have some time to try to get a breakout going after the Riels just got some fresh legs out onto the ice. As Todoruk, look out, friendly fire for number 21 in Noah St. Laurent as he just took that in the helmet. As the Riels go D to D. This pass cut off in the neutral zone, right at the red line. As the Riels now look to catch Transcona off guard, but great recovery there to get back Todoruk. As he continues to whack away at Davis down low. Now up to the point for Kalen Reyes, has this shot blocked. Seawalk thought maybe there was a man up ice, but misread that. Sent it down for an icing. The shot's now 17-16 in favor of the Railer Express. They still lead this one by a score of 1-0. Of course, we will have score updates from around the league coming up very shortly here. Right now, the Hawks lead 1-0 over the Canucks. Sukic shot blocked. And River East up 2-1 at Terry Sawchuk over the Pembina Valley Twisters right now. Those two teams, the Twisters and the Royal Knights, of course, missing the playoffs last season. Looking for, of course, much better results here in 2025-2026. Belus at the point, his shot unable to get through. Or sorry, that was Grayson Matthews. As Sukic and Railer down low get tied up with each other. Sukic heads towards the net now as he's down low. Tries to send that into the slot, but net off. An interference call as well, coming up to Lucas Major. Looks like this will send the Railers back onto the power play. As Major goes to the box. This power play will be brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance. Of course, independent local Winnipeg gym, going 5 years strong on 1111 Winnipeg Avenue, building number 3. Be sure to check them out today. Anytime you have a chance, at their website, movementfp.ca. The Railers still searching for their first power play goal of the season. They've had plenty of chances, but nothing to fall for them here. As Larkins possesses this off of the face-off draw, a win for the Railers. As it's up to Bruchansky, fakes before passing it to Vandenbush as his shot can't get through. Blocked up by the Riels. As Vandenbush gets it right back atop of the right face-off circle. Bruchansky's shot deflected, couldn't get on net, so couldn't make its way through the traffic. Both teams battling down low. Dubois will get on this as he can't quite get it out. Held in by the glove of Bruchansky. Sends it DDD to Vandenbush. Back up top to Bruchansky. Mohawk sends it to Larkins. His shot turned aside by Larocque. Was put below the goal line. Now up top again to Vandenbush. His shot rose and went out of play. Finding the netting. As Derek Annual gets fresh legs out on the power play for this squad now. Cochin lost the draw as Coe unable to hold it in. Maybe a chance here for the Riels, trying to chip this and get past the Railers D. As they do, but unable to maintain possession of that puck down low. Spieluz lost the race to the puck. It's McClure. Looked like he was going to go one-on-one with him, but just dropped it back. Now it's to Coe, near side boards, fires it in deep. As Larocque out of his own net. Goes goal line to play this. Coe holds this in near side at the blue line. Railers finally have to get back in again in their own end to break out 200 feet as the Riels sent it in deep. It's for McClure. Pass onto the tape and off right away of Sylvester. So they get it down low below the Riels goal line. Sylvester battling in the corner. Tries feeding it to the slot, but this cut off right away by Riels forward and Cole Davis. Sent it all the way down deep again with 10 seconds remaining on this man advantage for the Railers. It's been a great sequence from the Riels penalty kill. Do they finish it off with a shorthanded goal to tie it up? But no, it's not meant to be. It's number 29 and Sage Delarone ends up making the stop. So we are, of course, back to even strength. Take off movement, fitness, and performance. 6:21 remains in this period of action. Straw one towards the boards by the Railers. D to D, this goes to Buchanski. He'll send it right back to Larkins as he got closed off right away. Off the boards, this goes to Johannesson. His pass up the middle, turned over, and Reyes sends it right back in. Took a bump afterwards too, but he ends up being okay. This into the skates of Larkins. Larkins right back to Bruchansky. Bruchansky forgot the puck, trying to send it out. That's chirped a bit there from the Riels bench. They're trying to get into number 7's head. All the way back down this goes. This is Dominico who will reverse. Below the Riels goal line to Reyes as Reyes will skate his way out. Down the far side, Reyes had his stick disrupted there by Vandenbush, but gets back on it down low. Tries to send it into the slot, lost his edge instead. From below the Railers goal line, Cashton long along the near side boards, gets taken out. That'll draw a penalty too. Maybe 2 coming. Or was it just a hand pass that was called? Appears to just be that. So we'll have a face-off just outside of the Riels end. Should be won by the Riels. It's McCorrister. Almost turned it over up the boards, but instead it gets back down low for Hal. Howell's pass attempt out, held in by the Riels as they send it back in deep. Hansen along the boards. Is able to disrupt this for it to stay down low in the Railers' end for now as the Riels try to get in on the forecheck, trying to force a turnover. They do the next best thing, I think, for them on their pressure, which is force another ice and to set up an offensive zone draw. So the Railers do lead 19-17 in the shot category. They lead 1-0 in this matchup, with 4:49 remaining in the second period of action. Van Dynes to take the draw, won by the Railer Express as McCorrister gloved it down and protected it. Got it over to McClure, opposite end of the Railer zone from where that puck was originally. Now chasing this down, it's Nathan Turner, last year's leading goal scorer for the Railers, denied there by the pad of Larocque. Now sent up to Sukit. He stops up, delays, waits for help. He shoots out on net, turned aside by number 29 in Delarone. Down low, Van Dyne shields this, tries to get it free to Sukit, and does just that. To Van Dynes again, sends it on net, rebound there, trying to search for it with Sukit. Cleared away by the Railer Express. Van Dyne's down low again, pinned up along the boards by Howell. Now Ewan Reyes, as well as McClure, battling high up in the zone. McClure turned this over. It's onto the stick of Major. Major sends this down low to Van Dynes. Cross-ice feed over to number 9. And Matthews, his shot wide of the net. Rebound there off the boards for Van Dynes. He puts it wide. As McCorrister will send this out and up. Number 27 in McClure shields this along the far side boards. Can't rip that shot as he tried to get one off, but fanned on it instead. It's the pace really picking up here. Van Dynes had his stick. Vandenbush had his stick slash out of his hands. That'll be a delayed penalty coming up, as we'll see the Railer Express go back to the man advantage. Of course, for what feels like about gazillion times here tonight, so many power plays in the second period alone. This next one goes to the Railer Express. 2 minutes for a slash. Number 44 in Kalen Reyes. This is power play brought to you by Elite Prospects. Sent right down into the Railer zone by the Riels. It forces the Railers to have to break out from 200 feet from their own end. Speed of Jace Larkins. Larkins sends this in deep, trying to rim it around strong enough to get to Sullen, but Sullen was cut off down low by Riel. This puck along the boards, both teams trying to get it loose, trying to get it free as it's up to the point to Bruchansky. Slides this back to Vandenbush, back to Bruchansky. His shot, looking for a tip, gets it. Loose puck still there, but the Riels a great job to help out their goaltender. Strong in front of him, boxing out, protecting that house. This is Cole Davis. Skated with it a bit before sending it off the glass and all the way down. As tips have been a theme for the Railer Express tonight. Redirecting some dangerous chances on net where Larocque has just been able to get a piece of it. And of course, we see that great team defense that is a big part of the Riel's identity last season. For a team that has kept this a one-goal game since the first period, since allowing it. Done a good job of limiting dangerous chances. More so by the Railer Express. That'll be covered up by Larocque. And shouldn't say they've limited the high danger chances. I think that the Railer Express have found a way consistently throughout this game to continue to get into the prime scoring areas. It's just on those second chances, the Riels have gone a bit quicker. They've settled into their game. And on the penalty kill, a man down. Been really active, not sitting back, and forcing Transcona to make plays like this one. A one-timer blasted right in to the breadbasket of Owen Larocque, turned aside for another face-off called on the play. But for the Riels, mentioned that Bachnecht is out. They're also without Avon Cockerell, who was top three in this team in points last season as a rookie, which was pretty incredible. With 8 seconds remaining on this Railers power play, through some bodies, rebound there, Larocque able to deny it on that second chance. We're back to even strength as that turned aside again. As the Riels try to stretch it up ice now. McClure, watch out, almost got cranked in open ice by Van Dynes, but spun away from it just in time. Hansen did a good job of getting this free to Sukit, and does just that as Sukit breaks in with Van Dynes, gets it to Van Dynes, tries getting it back to Sukit, but Lone Cole able to take away that passing lane. Now the Railers back on in the attack. Turned aside by Larocque on that shot. As Vandenbush took it. Major, his pass off the mark, it was way behind Van Dynes. So the Railers dish this out. Face-off circle shot high of the net, occupied by Larocque. Nice job by Toder at getting the stick in that pass attempt by number 94 in Van Dynes. Physical play along the boards allows this to be turned over into Kalen Reyes' position. are in his possession as Reyes walks in down low, surveying. He gets taken down, loses an edge, no call on the play. Backdoor attempt on that feed, but it doesn't make its way there. Tipped wide of the net now by Sukit. So Raylor's able to send this all the way down. And things really ramping up in terms of the pace at the end of that period. In a period brought to you by Elite Prospects, as well as Movement, Fitness, and Performance. Shots ending up turning in the favor of the Raylor Express. 27-19 are the total shots in this matchup through 2 periods so far. And after the first 40 minutes, we're still at a tie game here. Or still at a 1-goal lead. The only lead we've seen here tonight from the Raylor Express. So it was Berchanski. 4 minutes into this game, just over that wide went home from the point through some traffic. The Raylors have still gotten some good traffic in front of Larocque, but he's upped his game. The Riels in front, making it really difficult for the Raylors to get to rebounds. And that was on display throughout that past period. Both teams had plenty of power play time to work with. It got pretty chippy within that second period. We'll see what the third has in store. We'll be back coming up after this little break here. You'll see our promo screen. But yeah, we'll have more mmjhl game day on this Friday night from Saltdale Community Center between the defending champions, St. Boniface Riels, looking to salvage their banner night as they open their title defense, being the defending champions heading into this season. Will they be able to salvage it and come back? Maybe they win in regulation, maybe we see some OT, or will it be the Raylor Express who hold on? We'll find out coming up next in these next 20 minutes of action on the second edition of mmjhl Game Day for us this season on G-Show Productions, on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Thank you so much for supporting us, mmjhl fans, from wherever you may be watching. Raylors up 1-0 after the first 40 minutes. And welcome back into the second intermission as the Zamboni does its final lap around the ice. As we get set for this upcoming third period of action in a one-goal game after 40 minutes. The only goal in this one tonight so far, it came from defenseman returnee, one of many for this Transcona Railer Express side, in Nathan Bruchansky, wiring home his first of the season, assisted by Nolan Vandenbush, this year's captain for the Transcona Railer Express, returning to wear the C once again, and Carter Johannesson also getting in on the action, getting the secondary assist. Shots in that period were 17-9 in favor of the Railer Express. They ended up having a bit more power play time compared to the Riels, as the Riels took 4 penalties during that period, and the Railer Express had only 2, both coming to Trey Sullen back-to-back as well near the start of that one. But yeah, expect for this to be a chippy third period. We saw the pace ramp up near the end of the second, and yeah, for the Riels, you can expect for maybe them to up the ante in their forecheck, given that they are still down by 1 in this game. And I'm really interested to see how this Railer Express team fares, if they're going to sit back, just dump pucks down, ice pucks consistently throughout this period, or if we're going to see them try to extend the lead. We got to be careful not to get caught in a position where you could give up that costly tying goal. As the Riels make their way back onto the ice, the Railers had already entered on. This period will be brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Find out why at terrico.ca. As in this one, for another time we drop the puck here on our third period of action. Brought to you by Terrico for this third period, as mentioned, as turned over here. And it'll be fed up top to the point. Hansen, his shot deflects in front, turned aside. Delarone somehow able to come across and make the save. Maybe that went wide. But what a start here to this period. As mentioned, this Riels team had a feeling they come out even stronger than they once have in this game. Is that for an ice? And look out, Pruden blows a tire. Lucky he wasn't skating in with more speed. He slowed up just a bit. But by the way, right now there's 2 other games going on. We'll have the score reports for you in just a moment for you in those ones. But yeah, I believe the Hawks and Canucks right now, they're tied at 1 apiece. Last time we checked, it was 2-1 in favor of the Royal Knights. It's now actually 2-2 in the Knights Twisters matchup. As Pembina Valley evened up the score at 2 apiece with a goal of their own. The only goal that was scored in the second period of that game. So they're now into the third. That goal scores! Well, last year's top point getter in the postseason for the Riels comes through big time. Finally able to put one past Sage Delarone, who's been locked in all night long. Has looked really comfortable in his crease. That time around in an awkward position to try to save that shot. Didn't score up to the puck all the way. Allowed for some space for Brzezinski to find pass number 29. And to give this Riel side some new life on the scoreboard. Now tied at 1 apiece. As Sachin as his first career point, having one of the assists on that goal. That, of course, was brought to you by Terrico. It's turned over down low, below the goal line in the Railers' end. They're able to maintain possession of it, though, as somehow Vandenbush feeds this up all the way to Whiteman. It's getting out of his own net. LaRock to play it, does so up the near boards. It's just played into the middle of the Riels' end off of a pass now. Todoruk jumping into the neutral zone to cut that off. Sitars unloads a blast off of the blocker of Sage Delarone. Vandenbush slides it over to Todoruk. Todoruk cross-ice feed to Ronco. Ko sends this down low. LaRock out of his own net to play it again. Left it for a teammate. This now played up to Cashton Long at the blue line. Has some trouble getting it through. Allowed for a shot to be taken on net by Sullen. As all LaRock will do is cover it up. They get us a stoppage. 17:22 remaining. Fresh legs out there for the Railer Express side. Turner to take the draw. Has McClure and Sullen on his flanks. Shornley kicked out of the face-off draw. Brings in Van Dynes, but loses that draw. McCorster through traffic. Somehow seeing that was LaRock. Gloved it with ease. And also tonight, potentially having a chance to see two of the top two goaltenders, I'd say, in the mmjhl go at it. Although Alex Pauls, with his performance last night, would like to have a word with these two. Absolutely sensational in that 2-1 win for Fort Garry. In an emotional night down at St. Vital Centennial Arena. As McCorster held that in at the blue line, turned it over down low. Nice job by blocking that with the hand by Sullen. Tried getting it to his teammate, and McClure bounces to the net, but the Railers can't whack away at it. Is this line for the Railer Express turning things up? It's back onto the tape of Sullen now as Sullen will cut through the middle and now pushes this to the outside with the pass. It'll be taken away up the boards by the Riels, who pressured right away. All they can send it to is cross ice to the near boards, where Reyes sent it in deep. Major whacks it down low. McCorster sandwiched almost by two Riels, but got the safety to a teammate, and Howell up ice to Sullen. Now feeds this to Cochin. Cochin shot denied there by LaRock. He was locked in to make that stop. Chornley a bit too fancy in his own end, coughs up this puck on a dangle. As Cochin, all he can do is send that down low. Far side in the Riels' end. Now they play it to the near side of their own end and flip it out. Foot race. Larkins will beat Van Dynes to it. As he shields it from Van Dynes. Plays it off the boards to Johannesson. Flips that through the middle of the ice. This is turned over to the Riels again, and they sent it right back in. Bruchansky behind his own goal line, looking to stretch that up for Johannesson. Way too hard. And rightfully so, down for an icing. With 15:33 remaining in this period, things have gotten a lot more interesting on the scoreboard. 1-1 is the score. The shots 31-23 now in favor of the Railer Express. It's been about 6 shots to start off this period for the Riels. Around there. It's actually 4. They had 19 going in. Now up to 23, of course, as the Railers trying to get to speed, but Caden Johnson couldn't find a handle on that puck. Had his stick disrupted as well. Trying to get a handle on it. Skating back in his own end, Chornley now plays this off the backboards, but turned over to Johannesson. Tries a sidestep. Ewan Reyes instead loses the puck, but Larkins there for support. He gets it back. Larkins sends it down low to a man into the slot. Larkins, oh, what a save made by LaRock. Are you kidding me? Number 33 stretches out to Rob. one of the assistant captains this season for the Railers, and Larkins. I thought Larkins waited him out just enough, but somehow, some way, Larocque raises that pad up to kick it out. We're still at a tie game here, 1-1. As Sullen trying to find it off the draw. He does. Up to McClure. McClure bobbles around with it a bit, being pressured there by Riel and Sitars. As Sitars goes the other way. Now he's battling with Bruchansky. Bruchansky fended him off and goes off of the glass. Not quite out as Reyes holds the line. Turned over to Larkins as Larkins fends off the stick check of Riel, but does get pinned up, cut off along the boards in the neutral ice, so it was turned over with the Railers still on it. McClure, this just gets past his tape. Couldn't cradle in that puck near the slot in the Riel zone. Maybe another chance to take a shot here. He can't. Unloaded on it, but fanned on it as he was disrupted on that toe drag release attempt. Just played up to Sullen. Sullen circles back in his own end before firing it to Bruchansky. Bruchansky off the boards hard in. Larocque blocks it up along the boards. Same with the Railer Express, who forces this turnover down low. Is at the point, just holding it in, Todoruk. But it's the Riels who do get possession back and send it back in to the Railers. And now trying to pressure that shot. A nice block put on by number 10 and Co. Shot wide of the net for number 7. Swerked up to the point now to Domenico. His shot turned aside, seen all the way by Delarone. We get a stoppage with 13:11 remaining in this third period of action. As Todoruk up the far side boards. Got it ahead to Sylvester. He lost his balance, and this picked up by Vandenbush. Whiteman had it on his stick for a moment, but fanned on it. Couldn't get it on net. As the Riels break back in, but an offside called on the play. So both teams almost coming together after the whistle, having a few words for each other. In a game where, of course, the Riels not totally at full strength. Players like Avon Cockerell, Dylan Bachnecht out of this one. There are APs that have stepped in, like Hansen and others. Done a pretty good job of stepping into the next man up role. That next man up mentality for this Riels side. Dished out to Sylvester, whose heavy shot is turned aside there by Larocque. Allows for the Riels to get this back off a long rebound. And it's Chornley who makes his way in. Chornley, his shot wide of the net. He fired it in close on Delarone. Off the boards, this hops over the stick of Van Dynes now, trying to whack at it, poke it past. The Riel player was Whiteman, but was unable to. That shot from distance, turned aside by Delarone. And afterwards, number 16, and Gordon got taken out hard. As we see there on the ice. So both teams will get fresh legs out there, as Van Dynes had to be guided back to the bench there by a linesman, as him and Railer giving each other a bump on their way past each other. Cole Davis to take the draw against Nathan Turner, as Davis wins this towards the boards to Brzezinski. Tied up along those far boards, but Davis gets it back. Wraparound chance, can't get enough on it. Couldn't get good quality for a shot. Sullen will kick this to Reyes. Turnover forced by a good forecheck by the Railers in the Riels end. It's played up to Larkins. Larkins pass towards the slot, picked off by Brzezinski. Has Major with him as Brzezinski unloads, fires that wide of the net on a 2-on-1 where the pass was taken away. Major from The very side of the net just went wide of it. So now both teams battle along the far side in the Railers' end. Behind their own net, now to the near side, up towards the blue line. McClure battles to get possession of this, and he does. Pass number 9, and Matthews almost got past Major, but couldn't fight through the stick checks well enough. It's McClure, Sullen, they go off for a change as the Riels tried to stretch this up ice, but too hard off the boards instead. Down for an icing in a tie game at 1 apiece. Shots 33-25 in favor of the Railer Express. But they once led in this game. Not the case anymore as this third period has transpired. As Nathan Brzezinski put his Riels on top with a hard shot from the slot that made its way past Sage Delarone. In the corner, Matthews uses the net as his friend tried to bank it past, almost did to a teammate, but it got cut off. Now the Riels get possession of it at the top of their zone, but turned over. The Railers making it back in down the near side. This puck taken away, but sent right back in again. Number 21 in Noah St. Laurent, as him and Pruden battling. St. Laurent tries to get this puck free past Reyes, but Reyes, great job of hanging in with him in the battle. Puck ended up out of play. Which will leave the face-off draw back down inside the Riels' end. Sullen, Turner, and McClure back out there. Derek Gagnon may be recognizing that this line is feeling it right now. As Sullen in to take the draw, wins it back. That shot just wide of the net from Todoruk. As all vets out there on the ice right now for the Railer Express. That shot from Coe. Tried to find Sullen on the tip, but nothing materialized out of that. Turner from behind the net fed McClure in front, but his shot went haywire, fanned on the opportunity. Didn't cradle that 1T pass in well enough. His execution just a bit off tonight from the Railer Express, as they've had plenty of chances like that as this game has gone along. Rowe. Ronco passed the red line. It called for an icing. As Trey Sullen goes off. A bit gingerly. Looks like his left skate bothering him a bit, hoping that he can just shake it off. As McClure chips this pass, but beat out to that puck by Hansen, who sent it up ice to Reeve Sukit, as Sukit protects along the boards, near side, and will advance up that near side. Feeds it down low to Chornley. Tried to drop it right back to Chornley, but had it cut off. Was Sukit. Now at the point, Ewan Reyes sends it to a dangerous spot, almost a lucky bounce. The challenge, Delarone with a shot. Riels trying to locate that pass back door, but just getting a stick in the lane where the Railers disrupt its rhythm. That shot deflects, ends up right into the low slot. Delarone was searching for it, ended up right in front of him. Luckily no one home there for the Riels to whack away at it. As we're just under 9 minutes remaining in this third period of action. Will we see some OT here tonight? Which wouldn't be surprising from these two teams. Hayden Cochin and co. maybe have different plans, as Cochin shut down on that rush opportunity. Couldn't dangle past Hansen. Berchansky backdoor feed! Oh, Hansen puts it in, scores! But no, the net off! The refs say it's no goal. As a sigh of relief from the Riels crowd. Frustration from the Railer Express, as they just felt like they put themselves back ahead in this one. But somehow, Larocque's able to make the first 2 saves. Loose puck was still there at the side of the net for Johannesson to hunt down. Number 11 thinks he has the go-ahead goal, but the refs breaking probably the worst news he's heard tonight, that the net's off, disallowing it. So we remain tied up at 1 apiece. This game, its physicality is ramped up. It's no different here in this third period. It's at the blue line. The Railers able to break in to the Riels zone. Is that backdoor feed just under the stick for Kotchin as he couldn't whack away at it to get a shot at least on net. The Railers fresh legs out onto the ice for Vandenbush. Johannesson still remains out there. Now he'll go off for a change. Allows for Sachin to walk in near side and fire this down low. D, the Railers go. Howell plays it quickly up the boards. This gets passed and off to the races as Cam Sylvester has Vandenbush heading towards the net. Sylvester can't get that pass through. Somehow that's a penalty coming up. A lucky break here for the Railer Express. And Paul Cast is letting the ref have it. I chuckled to myself there. I could just hear him drop that no-no word, an F-bomb from up here. And his argument is that you shouldn't be making a call like that this late in the game. And honestly, it's a very marginal slash at that. Yeah, it disrupts a pass across, but you've let so many of those go in this game. I'm not sure now is the right time to call it. But with that, it's the Railers who go on to the power play. They've had plenty of power play sequences tonight, and nothing really materializing for them. So we'll see if it's different here. Bruchansky to Vandenbush. Vandenbush to the front of the net for Turner. He couldn't turn around and fire that for a shot on net, though, as Larkins just holds the line. Almost didn't as Sullen wheels up and crosses over to the right side. Draw back for Vandenbush. He sends that to Bruchansky. Tried to send that towards the net, but instead blocked in the corner. Bruchansky, another chance to fire a tip. That rebound there. Sullen fires at it. Somehow Larocque keeps it out, and here we go. The mayhem ensues again in front of the net. But my goodness, Owen Larocque been an absolute rock in the back of the net, no pun intended. Or maybe there was a pun intended there for this St. Boniface Riels side. His athleticism is what really stands out, being able to just stretch out either the left pad or the right pad to get a piece. Jace Larkins, I'm sure that right pad may be giving him some flashbacks throughout tonight, as he was robbed earlier on in this period. Nothing but time to get it up past Larocque, and Larocque somehow makes the save. As for his Riels in front of him, they've also done a good job in fighting and battling in this one. For the Railers, feeling like maybe they're a bit snake-bitten, as Whiteman stripped of this puck just outside of his own end. Brzezinski looking for his second of the game instead. Wires it high of the net. There's only 47 seconds remain on the Transcona man advantage. Johannesson drops it back for McClure. McClure sidesteps and passes it up to Kotchin. Kotchin lost a handle on this puck and now turned over, but this pass just off the mark, out of the reach for Brzezinski. It'll allow for this pass out in front. Somehow got it to Major. It's Major denied in front by Delarone, as the shorthanded chances rearing their head here against the Railer Express. Look out there, Whiteman along the boards. As he was ridden out hard. Delarone has to be careful here. Battling with Sukit. Sukit takes it away from Delarone. Somehow the net goes off, and Sukit gets taken down hard afterwards. No, that's Chornley actually. And with that, as we were back to even strength. That's just something you can't have if you're the Transcona Railer Express. The way this game's been called, you gotta be able to keep your emotions under wrap. But for them, it's not the case. What is the case is that St. Boniface is going back to the power play. Brought to you by Terrico as Reeve Sukit and Sachin communicating something up top. What the play is going to be here on the power play if they do in fact win the draw. It's 1-2 Sachin. Just gets it over to Sukit. It's in front. Bodies battling to maintain position. Here the Riels do get position. A shot on net too. Denied by Delarone. It's a big save there from number 29. As Sukit protects near the line. Gets this to Chornley. That rebound there. Chance wide of the net from Sachin. As Chornley created a rebound by getting it on net. This a turnover created, but the puck hops on and off of the stick of Chornley. Odd for the Railers to get possession of it and huck it all the way down. There's over a minute remaining in this power play. As the Riels get this over to Chornley. His shot wide of the net. Railers were calling for an offside but didn't get one. This is played up to Sukit in the neutral zone. Now crosses over the line into the Railer zone. Dropped it off to Major. Across to Chornley. That blast from Sachin at the point. Wide of it. So it's dangerous from number 16 as he unloaded. It'll get back to Sukit. Back up top to Sachin. Now to Chornley. Quickly to Dubois, but a nice block by Bruchansky, eliminating a great chance. On a great setup on this power play from the Riels. That shot just in the breadbasket of Delarone. As Howell gets a extra punch in there on Major. Luckily that time for this Railer Express side, not penalized. And I will say, I do think that that's never really warranted a penalty. You're looking to protect your goaltender, right? And that's exactly what the Railers were doing there after the whistles blew the Riels too close in their crease for their liking towards near their goaltender in Delarone as they get this far away from Delarone for the time being, sent all the way back down into the Riels end as Larocque was out of his own net to leave it. Left it for Reyes, who played it up to, I believe, Cole Davis, as we are back to even strength now. Still no power play goals in this game. Almost an even strength goal there for this Riels team, who is pressing. That shot, Sitar, is blocked by Howell. Shot lane's clocked up, so all the Riels can do is pass this down low to control it. Howell takes it away and looks to just eat this along the boards. The Riels, though, they're able to get it out from along the boards. Heavy hit there, leaves a player down on the ice, which it looks like he will get up, but slow to, with 2:55 remaining. It's just like that. It'll be a 2-minute penalty to Nathan Turner. And yet again, the Riels go back to the power play. Van Dynes to take the draw, wins this, but out of the reach of Sachin. He has to recover it in the neutral zone. He'll skate towards the near board, stop up just outside the blue line as the Riels try to make their way back in on this next power play opportunity. It kicked out wide by Sukit to Van Dynes, fending off Johannesson before passing that cross ice, but couldn't find his man, number 22 in Chornley. Now that shot, Sachin turned aside by Delarone, cleared away by the Railer Express. As over 30 seconds gone on the power play clock. Just over 2 minutes remaining in this game. Reeves Sukut has the puck on his stick, banks it down low off the far boards, but cut off right away by Bruchansky. Now a Railer cut off down below, forced to turn over and force this puck to be back in possession for the Riels. Walking away afterwards was Major. He gets his stick slashed out of his hands. And the Riels getting into the Railers' heads here a bit, knowing that, hey, I mean, we've had penalties drawn before for something similar, right? So let's keep Crash and Delarone hacking at them right as the whistle's going. And maybe we frustrate this Railer Express team even more and maybe draw another penalty. Ref's not calling anything there, but quick to break it up in the scrum. It's Cole Davis to take the draw against St. Laurent, won by St. Laurent, as Roan Coe bodied along the boards. He was pinned up. Sitar's at the point, shielding this puck from Johnson before sending it to a teammate in Davis, who lost his balance, couldn't get a clean shot off because of it. Sitars protects down low. His teammate tried to get a pass back to him. Instead, it's to Reyes up top. To Davis, his shot turned aside by Delarone. Rebound cleared by the Railer Express. Sits all the way back down into the Riels' end. 30 seconds remaining now on this man advantage. As just past the blue line, sent in deep over to Cole Davis. Cole Davis down low. We'll chip this up. Back to Dominico. Dominico to Reyes. Back to Dominico, but can't get past Howell. As Howell might send his teammate in Johnson. He looks to get a step past in Reyes, but puck hopped on him, and he lost control of it. And Reyes is able to take it away as we are back to even strength, heading into the final minute of regulation. Now down to about 45 seconds on the clock. Will we see OT in this one? Maybe even a shootout? Or do we see one of these teams get a late equalizer here? Who plays hero for the Railers? Who plays hero for the Riels? We're about to find out here. It's 30 seconds remaining. Icing called on the play to the displeasure of the Railers bench. We'll take a look. We can look back to see where that was passed from. It was close, right near the red line. The Railers, to expect they'd argue it if it was that close, right? Has this been a very close game throughout this Friday night contest? This pass up the boards all the way down back into the Railers' end with 10 seconds under that remaining now. It's glove down, sent to Vandenbush. Maybe one more chance here. Under 3 remaining. Vandenbush gets a shot off, meets the pad of Larocque instead. As 33 makes a big save. And with that, we will be going to overtime, which will just be flashing our sponsors in the left-hand corner here. But, you know, the season for these two teams, from a fan perspective, it couldn't have started off any better. Shots 35-33 after 60 minutes in favor of the Railer Express. They led heading into that third period. Of course, it's the Riels who were able to tie this thing up from that goal from Nathan Brzezinski. So yeah, both goaltenders making huge saves. Larocque making the bulk of the huge saves in that period. Highway robbery a few times committed on this Railer Express side. But as we take a look at opening weekend, all this info can be found on the MM's website at mmjhl.ca. Currently it's the Canucks and Hawks who go to overtime as well. River East got the win over the Twisters, so they moved to 1-0. But as for us here, we also got an OT game to call. That OT game, by the way, for Charles Wood and St. James can also be seen right now on gshowproductions.uscreen.io as Bentley Brand has the call over in Iroquois tonight. But for us here in Southdale Arena, we're underway for this OT period. It's 3-on-3 hockey. And if no one scores, we go to a shootout. As most open ice these teams have had to work with all night long. It's on to the captain's stick in Vandenbush. He's looking to go one-on-one with Davis. What a move by Vandenbush, but denied by Larocque. Vandenbush taken out down low. Maybe a chance for the Riels to take advantage of less bodies in the zone for this Railers team. Davis almost lost an edge. Got it over to Sachin, who's denied by Delarone. Shots one apiece here in this OT period so far, and we're not even a minute in. Brzezinski, Van Dynes, and Sachin out for the Riel. Sachin, the defense. The forwards for the Railers. The one who won the draw, and Turner, along with Selin, the defenseman, as Larkins out there right now. Van Dynes took it away from Larkins. Loose puck there, oh, and tight. Delarone just able to get a piece on that shot to make the stop. As Turner had his stick occupied down low, had it taken away. It's free in the corner. The Railers end far side for Selin, and he has some room to skate with that, and he'll do just that. Makes his way into the Riels end now towards the net. Looking for a wraparound chance maybe, but knew it was going to be taken away, so just takes it all the way around in the Riels end. Still has possession of this puck. Slides it to Larkins. Larkins down low now. Has a man with him in Turner. Gets caught up down low as he's tied up well by Brzezinski. Larkins continues to battle him along with Sachin, Brzezinski, and Turner, and Sachin comes away with it. A 2-on-1 developing as Major is with Sachin. Sachin, his shot turned aside. Rebound there for Major. So we just went black with our camera for a sec, folks. Apologies. That's how good this game has been. So we tried to hook up once again. Apologies, fans. Don't understand what happened. As that wide of the net. Miss net as play continues. So we still are at a black screen. Looking like we got our signal back. As we did just that, and just in time as for a snow shower we see appear on the screen. This team's having none of that. We're the Riels. And happy that we are back here, mmjhl fans. Had a scare there for a moment with our camera disconnecting. 2:15 remains in this OT frame. As Larkin sends it down low. Steps up into the play, but a missed pass into his skates. Now it's turned up by Sachin. Has Davis with him. Gets it to Davis. Goal! Davis scores! The defending champs start off their title defense with a thrilling comeback here on a Friday night as Cole Davis just able to get it past that blocker hand side, high blocker hand side past Sage Delarone, and for the Riels, they walk away from this one looking like they have some choice words on their way out for the Railers too, as they open their title defense 1-0. A great game played by both sides. We had to scare ourselves here in overtime with our camera being unplugged, but we were able to plug in for the final. The vibes absolutely immaculate from the Riels, their supporters, and their bench, and rightfully so. What a thriller to end it. We talked about finding open space in this one. Well, both teams did a really good job on the back checks tonight, getting back and making it difficult for teams on both ends to have these opportunities, that type of scoring chance that Cole Davis had. But the Riels, who have been chipping at pucks all night long, they feed a pass through to Cole Davis. Not sure who got the assist, but Cole Davis makes no mistake and lets it go. A returnee from last year's championship team, looking to leave an even bigger mark this season. We're going to get into the players of the game, and tonight it is going to be brought to you by... let's see here. Well, for the losing side, we'll go with Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. My opinion, player of the game tonight from Transcona, I would have to give it to, in my opinion, to Caden Bruchansky. Had a goal tonight. Thought he created some great offense from the back end. And yeah, put a lot of dangerous shots on net. Had some really nice breakout passes in this one too. And yeah, it was a factor all game long. Shut down this Riels team more times than not when he was out there. And with that, he is your player of the game for this Transcona Railer Express side. Brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As for Elite Prospect Player of the Game for the winning side in the St. Boniface Riels, well, a huge part of their championship run last year, the success they had on it, was from their goaltender, Nolan LaRock, and tonight he was a true difference maker, stopping 35 of 36 shots against. In fact, he stopped 35 shots straight, as the only goal he gave up was the first shot of the game for this Railers side, and yeah, made some huge saves, especially in the third, that kind of changed the course of this game. Without those saves, the Railers go up by more than 1 or 2 goals, right? So, yeah, that's my reasoning for LaRock. Getting player of the game tonight, brought to you by Elite Prospects, the most informative hockey player database on the web today. Be sure to check them out tonight, or anytime you can, at eliteprospects.com. Well, the defending champs start off with a victory. 2-1 in OT, they win it. Having to come back, had to fight in this one, had to work against who may be their toughest opponent this season. But we'll get a chance to see them against another tough opponent coming up on Sunday afternoon, as they'll be back here at 3 p.m. for puck drop to take on the St. James Junior Canucks. I want to thank Terrico, goaltenders, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Movement Fitness and Performance, and Terrico goaltenders for sponsoring this one, Elite Prospects as well. As for the rest of the action in the league here tonight, of course, we mentioned River East were winners in their matchup, 3-2 over the Twisters, and the Hawks win it in OT over the St. James Junior Canucks. So all home teams eating well here on this opening night for their regular season. As opening week continues, we'll be back on Sunday afternoon, everybody. Until then, I've been your host and play-by-play commentator, Graham the G-Show Forsyth, thanking you for choosing gshowproductions.uscreen.io and watching this edition of mmjhl Game Day. Riels, 2-1 to start things off in this finals rematch. What a reunion it was. Good night, everybody.